York's classic rock, Q1043.
New York's classic rock, Q104.3. I feel really excited to have Steve Gutenberg here with us.
Yes.
I mean, he's a real movie star.
That's right.
And he's a local guy.
Come on.
You know, here's what I do before somebody who I've never met before comes up.
Yes.
I try to learn as much about them as I possibly can.
That's very respectful and kind.
You know, most people are aware of you and your storied career. You know, your filmography is very impressive, but that's not enough.
Wait, my doctor gave out my filmography?
But you know, that's not enough. I had to learn more. And here's what I learned. I learned that you are a really nice guy.
Thank you.
I learned that you're loyal to your friends. I've heard that you are not only talented, but very easy to work with. I heard that you are generous to your castmates. I heard that you are very friendly with crews that you work with. I've heard nothing but good things about you from the beginning when you went to Hollywood until now. I haven't been able to, I mean, it's not that I was looking for anything that was negative. It's just that I heard all these wonderful things about you. You seem to be an extraordinarily well-liked, well-rounded human being. Talented, handsome, personable, funny, a good person
Did
to
you
hang.
just say handsome?
Yeah, because that was, you know, you were, you know,
I'm telling you.
you were
Right? I'm saying, we're
you know,
trying to just say.
you were. I mean, that's a reality. That was a reality of your life. So what I want to know is, how on earth did a guy like that survive even 5 minutes in Hollywood?
My mom and dad. My mom and dad are some of the most wonderful people ever born on this earth. Born in Borough Park, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
My dad was born in Borough Park, and my mom too. My dad was both near 45th Street and 10th Avenue, and they grew up with great parents also, great values, and kindness. You know, it's very easy to be a nice person if you control yourself. You know, my dad would always say to me, "The mind is a wonderful servant, a terrible master. You have to tell it what to say. You have to tell it what to do. You know, you want to lose your temper? Don't lose your temper. You want to say something nasty? Don't say something nasty. Figure out a way to get what you need in a nice way. And everything can be accomplished kindly. The truth is, we're all the same. The CEO who lives in the penthouse and the super who lives in the basement, we're all trying to be happy. That's the goal. A 10 in happiness. So it's really not about money. It's not about status. It's really about being a nice person. And if you kind of consciously remember that, you know, it's not something that's inborn in you to be a nice person, but you have to consciously work on it all the time. So I want to like myself. You know, I'm better when I like myself.
But guess what? Everybody else likes you too.
Well, I hope so. But I want to be liked, and I want to like myself. I want to like my actions, so I try to do nice things.
Yeah, one of the other things I forgot to mention is that your charitable activities are considered to be sincere. You involve yourself because you can and because you want to, not because you're looking for some sort of PR hit. These are the sort of things I read about you.
Yeah, thank you.
Have
I'm
you
glad.
looked yourself up? I mean, it's pretty amazing.
This morning, I was taking a look at myself. I didn't like what I saw. I got to get back in the gym.
Okay, well,
But also, you want to talk about the charitable interests I have. Foster children. We were lucky enough to, I want to tell you a funny story. So years ago, we started a house called Guten House, which is for emancipated youth from foster homes. Sometimes at 18 years old, they have to leave.
You age out. Right.
Right.
And then there's a real problem because there's nowhere to go and no real support services.
Right. So we built a little house with 2 apartments, 4 bedrooms, and I had a Beverly Hills decorator donate stuff, cherry wood cabinets, beautiful carpeting. My Aunt Vera helped me. Anyway, so for girls, you have to be sober, go to school, and have a job, or any of those. And you could have a baby and all that stuff. So anyway, once a month I would go there for a lunch on a Sunday, meet the girls, take them out to lunch, and talk. So one day, about a year into it, 2 years into it, I went to the house, knocked on the door on Sunday for our meeting, our lunch, and a girl came with a little baby. I didn't recognize. I go, hi. I go, oh, you new? She goes, yeah. I go, oh, I'm here for the lunch. She goes, come on in. I go, are the girls ready? She goes, I have something to tell you. So what? They're not coming. I go, why? What happened? Is everything okay? No, everything's okay. They actually left me here because I'm the new girl and I don't know you. They don't want to go to lunch with you anymore. Why? You're boring. You're boring. You're boring as hell. They said you go to lunch and you ask the same questions. How's school? How's your job? How's the baby? Everything. They don't want to hear it anymore. They don't want to have lunch with you anymore. I was furious. I walked out there and I called my Aunt Vera, who's 94 years old. I got out of my car in a parking lot. Call, how dare they? She goes, Stephen, that's their house now. You donated it. But it's their house now. It's not yours. They don't want to have lunch with you. And guess what? You are a little boring.
And also very generous. Now, Steve Guttenberg's our guest. Plain Edge High School.
Yep.
That's North Massapequa?
North Massapequa. Plain Edge Red Devils.
Okay. All right. So, and that's where Mr. Kirby, your drama teacher, turned you on to what turned out to be, your lifelong.
And before that, Mrs. Rosen in the Teen Repertory Theater when I was 12.
Okay. Well, so you get out of school. You graduate, what, 1974? 76. I made you older than you are. I'm sorry. Okay, so 1976. You go to Hollywood to seek your fortune. You make TV commercials. You do a good job in the TV commercials, but then you got your first film, and you're in this film with Laurence Olivier and Gregory Peck
and James Mason.
Okay,
and Uta Hagen.
This and Uta Hagen, but this is your first film.
My first good. I had two others before that. I had a show called a movie called Roller Coaster with Richard Widmark.
You were uncredited in that one.
Uncredited, but I had one line.
Okay, but you were uncredited.
Uncredited.
I'm talking about your first high. You're hired. You're going to interact with.
Yeah.
Laurence Olivier and Gregory Peck. You're just a few years out of school from Long Island.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Wonderful. They were the most generous, nicest people. Sometimes the greatest and the most successful, the most accomplished, are actually the most wonderful, friendly people. I would go to Larry's house. And
Larry, Laurence Olivier,
yeah.
Larry.
Larry's house. He would have a beautiful lunch, and he was not well at the time, and he wanted me to rub his feet. He had terrible problems with his feet. And, I would do that for my dad, too, and my grandma and stuff like that, and hang out with him. And Mr. Peck, Greg, was so generous and so wonderful. And James Mason, his wife Pamela, would make lunch every day, and would give me lunch, a sandwich every day, and I would sit with them. And James had terrible psoriasis on his hands, and I would always go around to these apothecaries and try to find little cures for his hands. Found stuff that eased, the pain of them. But anyway, it was a wonderful experience.
And that's the boys from Brazil that we're talking about.
Yeah.
And then Tom Selleck.
Great guy.
Okay, now Tom.
You had him on?
No, I haven't had him on. I stood on an elevator with him a few years ago.
Great guy.
Just the two of us. I was so intimidated by his physicality. I mean, I was already on the elevator alone.
He's a big guy.
The elevator door opened up, and Tom Selleck walked into the elevator. Now, I'm used to seeing famous people all the time. It's part of my job. I mean, we see people, walking just past this window right here. I mean, movie stars, TV stars, sports figures, authors, political leaders, recording artists. I mean, I see a lot of them.
Sure.
I was speechless when Tom Selleck got on the elevator. Absolutely speechless.
Yeah.
I didn't say hello. I didn't do anything. I just kept my mouth shut. And inside my head, I was going, oh my God, that's Tom Selleck.
Yeah.
That's Tom Selleck.
He's a really nice person. Such good manners. Came from a great family. Mom and dad, his brothers and sisters, such nice people.
My friendly acquaintance Abby works with him on Blue Bloods.
Okay.
And says he's just,
great. He's a regular guy who, like me and a lot of people like you, found a great job that he's able to make a career out of and support a family, and you're lucky. And he's one of the nicest guys ever in the world. And he handles his fame and his adulation with humility, class and manners, and he's just a wonderful guy.
And that would be Three Men and a Baby.
Right. Leonard Nimoy. Tell us about
And Leonard,
him.
another
Director.
wonderful. Leonard directed it. Wonderful man, wise. I describe him as a ball of fire inside an iceberg. He's Russian, so very stoic on the outside, but warm and loving and funny. We had dinner like the couple of nights before we started shooting. He had when I went to meet him, he had me over to his house, and we had his mother's stuffed cabbage.
I love stuffed cabbage.
Models
Excellent.
for the movie. Wonderful guy, married to a wonderful lady named Susan Bay, and Leonard passed a couple of years ago. Really good guy.
Now, of course, there was a very controversial made-for-TV movie, and it seems to have slipped out of our collective memory, but at the time, it was the talk of the whole country, and that's The Day After.
Yeah, great show, directed by Nick Meyer, the great Nick Meyer, who said, my cocktail party's talking about nuclear war, and I'm going to do something about what I talk about, make action. He wrote this wonderful show. ABC put it on. Bob Papazian produced it, great producer, and ABC had the courage to put it on. And actually, afterward, the President Reagan, came on television to calm people down. It was almost like War of the Worlds because it was so intense. First time we ever saw what nuclear war would create, the horrors of it. And I was very proud to be, I'm still very proud to be in it. One of the highest rated television events in history.
Of all time, yeah. 8:16 here at Q104.3. And Steve, about 3:40 this morning, I was sitting in my apartment doing the Facebook birthday list. I do that. I sit down at 3:30 every morning, workday mornings, and do the birthday list. It's a little later on the weekends. I don't finish it till like 7 in the morning.
You mean friends of yours that have birthdays?
Facebook friends.
Oh, Facebook friends have birthday and you wish them happy birthday.
Yeah, Facebook
Sure.
friends who have birthdays.
Sure. Yeah.
It's not necessarily people that I've ever met personally,
Okay.
but friends nonetheless.
That's cool.
And so that's why I was on Facebook at 3:40 in the morning. And what did I see at 3:40 in the morning on Facebook? I saw Marlo Thomas raving about your show, Tales from the Gutenberg Bible, at the George Street Playhouse at the New Brunswick Performing Arts Center,
Yeah.
with her recommendation that everybody go see it. Did you know about that?
Yeah, she's a friend of ours. We just had, my wife Emily and I had dinner with her last night. She's a great friend.
Well, she posted a photo from last night. I saw it at 3:40 in the morning.
Oh, the three of us?
No, just the two of you.
Two of us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She's a wonderful friend, and she came for opening night to the show with Elaine May and Jeannie Berlin and Renee Taylor, and they had a great time. And she's always been such a great supporter. And we did a play together, Relatively Speaking, on Broadway at the Brooks Atkinson, and she's actually being honored at the Gracie Awards soon with a Lifetime Achievement Award. So,
Great.
And she's wonderful, and thanks, Marlo, for publicizing us and always being so wonderful, and I love you so much.
Gracie Awards are a big deal.
Big deal.
Now, Tales from the Gutenberg Bible is a play.
Yes.
You wrote it.
Yeah.
You star in it. But
Yeah,
you're
we-
not the only person in the cast. There are 4 people in the cast that
Yeah.
play about a gazillion characters.
Yeah, there's Arnie Burton and Corinne Montalban and Dan Dominguez, and they play 30 characters each. From age of,
That's 90 characters.
Wow.
it's a 90 characters and one Gutenberg. And it's about my life from the age of 17 to about now, and all the different people I've met, and the funny things and the meaningful things. And the show, we get a standing ovation every night, and we got great reviews, and people like the show. And we got a great director, David Saint, great producer, Julian Schlossberg, and it works.
Well, the title Tales from the Gutenberg Bible would infer that it's based on your memoir.
Yeah, yeah. And then and stories that are in there and not in there. And then we're going to be at the Bay Street Theater in August in Sag Harbor. We'll be there for the month of August. So we got 2 more weeks in New Brunswick at the George Street Playhouse. And it's a real ball. We have a lot of fun, and I think people would enjoy it if they come.
Well, where can people find tickets? They're on sale now. And where would...
Probably the George Street Playhouse.com.
Okay, well, we're going to make sure that we've got it.
.org.
No, it's
George
.org. It's
Street.
GeorgeStreetPlayhouse.org.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, very important. And they're only $25.
Yeah, they're reasonably priced.
Okay, so you can have a night out,
Right.
Yeah.
you know, and still have some money left over for maybe something to eat or a glass of wine or something.
And it's an hour and a half. So it starts at 8, you're done at 9:30. You can be in your bed at 10:15.
Early night. Love it.
Okay, so it's georgestreetplayhouse.org.
Yeah.
So when you're interacting with these 3 actors on the stage, they are all playing people who had, you know, a place in your actual real life.
Yeah. My mom, dad, my sisters, teachers of mine, agents, managers, producers, actors, directors. And it's wonderful. For an hour and a half, my dad passed last July, and I'm able to be with him. I'm able to be with my mom, able to be with friends and family, and it's a ball, and it's wonderful for me. I go into it's a memory play, and I go into a wonderful time. And I mean, life is really
Well,
good
like
now.
making all those Police Academy
Yeah.
movies and
Bubba.
all the
Yeah,
different things that
great
you did.
great people I've met, and Greg Peck is in it, and Olivier's in it. So it's a wonderful experience. It's actually a wonderfully selfish time for me, and I get to
There
do
was
it.
Cocoon. People forget
I know.
I mean, we're talking lots of big hit movies.
I was very lucky. I've had some great
And the
seminal
American
movies.
Film Institute has you on one of their lists of the 100 best, right?
Diner.
Yeah.
Diner.
Oh, yeah, Diner from
Wow.
from early on. I mean,
It goes on and
I'm
on.
very lucky.
yeah. And we're very lucky to have you here with us this morning. It's at the George Street Playhouse, Tales from the Gutenberg Bible, written and starring Steve Guttenberg. Now, the George Street Playhouse is at the New Brunswick Performing Arts Center. Tickets are now on sale, $25. And it sounds to me like a real nice evening. It's georgestreetplayhouse.org.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank you
Jim. I
for
really
dropping
appreciate
by.
you
Steve.
taking care of us.
I really do appreciate it.
New York's classic rock, Q1043.